Hi everyone, and welcome to F-Bomb Friday. I am your host, Tracy Preston, along with my husband, Todd. Hey, hon.
Hey, baby.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's hit it. On today's episode, we'll be discussing a legendary creature in Michigan folklore, the Waheela of northern Michigan. The stories of the Waheela are rooted in the folklore of various indigenous cultures in Alaska, northwestern Canada, and the northern United States. Depictions of the Waheela vary across different tribes and stories, but common characteristics portray it as a large, powerful, wolf-like or bear-like creature, often associated with supernatural or spiritual attributes. The Waheela is typically described as being massive in size, long and muscular front legs with shorter hind legs. While resembling a large wolf, it has a wider head, giving it a more bear-like appearance. It is often said to be covered in thick, white, or light-colored fur, which helps it blend into snowy environments. It is consistently described as being much larger and more powerful than the average-sized wolf or bear, striking fear into those who encounter it. According to legend, the Waheela is a fearsome predator, known for its ability to attack and decapitate its victims. Some stories suggest it has a particular method of hunting, using stealth and strength to overpower its prey. Its presence is often associated with death and fear in the communities that tell stories about it. In some traditions, the Waheela is considered a spiritual or supernatural being, sometimes linked to shamanic powers or transformation. It might be seen as a creature with the ability to shapeshift. The cultural significance of the stories or teachings of the Waheela serve various roles to the indigenous cultures. It may be used to teach lessons about respect for nature, the importance of community, or the dangers of straying too far from home. The stories are often told to caution against hubris or emphasize the importance of living in harmony with the natural world. The Waheela shares similarities with other legendary creatures from around the world that are associated with wolves or bears, such as the Wendigo in Algonquin folklore. However, the specific characteristics and cultural significance are unique to the regions and people that tell the stories of it. The legend is linked to the Nahanni Valley, also named the Headless Valley, in the Northwest Territories in Canada. The Headless Valley, or sometimes referred to the Valley of the Headless Men, was so named by the indigenous tribes of the area after a series of unsolved historical deaths that occurred in the area where all the heads of the victims were missing. Some believe that the Waheela are a leftover or remnant of the Amphisbaenidae, a pre-Ice Age carnivore that was a large mix of bear and dog that lived about 1.5 million years ago. Although the Waheela is native to northern tundra regions, it may migrate southward during the winter. Some native legends claim that the creature is invulnerable to weapons and thus making the beast impossible to kill. The native legends also claim that the Waheela is not an ordinary beast, but a supernatural entity or demon that kills people by tearing off their heads, decapitating them. Many members of the native groups claim to have seen the Waheela, and although rare, people of European descent have claimed to have encountered the beast as well. One report of a hunter, while on the banks of the South Nahanni, upriver from Virginia Falls, Northwest Territories, Canada, claims to have seen a creature with a broad head and a shaggy white coat of fur. The hunter fired twice at the beast with his rifle, which had no effect on the creature. In another account, a young man reported seeing the Waheela while hunting in the remote Nahanni Valley in the 1960s. He reported seeing a strange wolf-like beast during an excursion with a native guide. According to the man, he was sitting on a grassy plateau, waiting for his guide and dog to return from pursuing a flock of wild fowl, when a massive creature emerged from behind a bush. The beast had a snow-white coat, so the man initially thought it was to be a polar bear. He was carrying a double-barreled 12-gauge shotgun, and he prepared to defend himself, as polar bears have a reputation for aggression. But as the dog creature moved into sight, it was clearly not a bear, but an enormous dog-like creature. He panicked and opened fire. The beast barely noticed or flinched and retreated to the woods. Now, as I mentioned before, the Waheela is said to migrate south for the winter, which brings us to this point. The first written account of the creature in northern Michigan. 3 trappers would encounter the Waheela. Here is their story. The darkness of the northern Michigan woods seemed to swallow everything whole, leaving only the faint glow of moonlight to guide the way. It was a place where legends roamed free, where the wind whispered tales of the unknown, and where 3 trappers, Jean, Marcus, and Elijah, ventured into the heart of the forest, unaware of the horror that awaited them. The year was 1850, and the men had set out to trap beaver and otter in the remote wilderness. They were seasoned hunters, familiar with the dangers of the forest, but nothing could have prepared them for the terror they would soon face. As they set up their traps and laid out their pelts, they spoke in hushed tones of the Waheela, a creature of Native American legend said to roam these very woods. According to the tales, the Waheela was a monstrous creature, a giant wolf-bear hybrid with razor-sharp claws and teeth. Its fur was said to be as white as snow, allowing it to blend seamlessly into the winter landscape. The men laughed and joked, dismissing the stories as mere myth. But deep down, they knew better than to tempt fate in these woods. As night fell, the men huddled around their campfire, swapping stories and sharing laughter. But as the hours wore on, the fire crackled and spat, casting eerie shadows on the trees. Suddenly, a chill ran down their spines as they heard a low, mournful howl echoing through the forest. They exchanged nervous glances at one another. "What was that?" Marcus whispered, his voice trembling. "Just a wolf," Jean replied, trying to sound convincing, but the others knew better. This was no ordinary wolf sound. As they settled in for the night, the howling grew louder and closer. The men tried to sleep, but their eyes remained fixed on the darkness beyond the fire's reach. And then, without warning, the Waheela emerged from the shadows. Its massive body towered over the men, its white fur glowing like a specter in the moonlight. The creature's eyes glowed with an unnatural intelligence. Its jaws were wide open, revealing rows of razor-sharp teeth. The men were frozen in terror, paralyzed with fear. The Waheela pounced, its claws tearing through the air with deadly precision. Jean was the first to fall, his screams echoing through the forest as the creature's claws ripped him apart. Marcus and Elijah tried to flee, but that Waheela was relentless, hunting them down with ease. As the night wore on, the men were torn to shreds, their bodies mangled beyond recognition. The Waheela feasted on their remains, its hunger insatiable. And when it finally departed, the forest was left in silence. The only sound was the wind rustling through the trees. The next morning, a search party found the men's camp, their bodies scattered across the forest floor. The trappers' bodies were torn and battered, and the trees were splattered with their blood. It was as if the very fabric of the forest had been torn apart. The legend of the Waheela spread far and wide, a cautionary tale about the dangers of venturing into the unknown. And some say that on certain nights, when the moon is full and the wind is just right, you can still hear the screams of Jean, Marcus, and Elijah echoing through the northern Michigan woods, a chilling reminder of the terror that lurks in the shadows. Oh, hun, that was graphic.
Right? This guy, this Waheela, is terrifying, just downright terrifying. And you know, when I did the story on the Wendigo, I thought that guy was terrifying. This guy is the contender, I think.
Yeah.
Very frightening. And you know, I think I would shit a brick if I came across this thing in the woods.
I'd shoot enough bricks to make an igloo.
Elder asked.
I'd be like a pet dispenser, but it'd be coming out my butt.
Right?
No, thank you. So here's the thing. I would not venture out to where I had to stay in those woods overnight. Get out, get up early, go hunting, and get my ass back home.
Right. Now, this sounds like another prime example of why not to spend the night in the northern woods of Michigan, because shit happens.
Yeah, it does. And if we're out there, shit happens in bricks.
Now, there was some speculation that this legend might be based on the dire wolf. I mean, the dire wolf is real. It was a real creature, but it had characteristics of a wolf, just a larger wolf. This thing's a little bit different. It's not quite like a wolf is. It's got the wider head, it's got the shorter back legs, almost kind of like how a German Shepherd is built, where it kind of slopes in the back.
That is exactly what I was picturing in my mind.
Right. The dire wolf's out, so it can't be a descendant of the dire wolf. Although similar in size. But we talked about how the ogre of Sini got in a duke out with the dog man. I'd kind of like to see the Waheela go against the Wendigo. Nose to nose fight with these guys.
But isn't the Wendigo extremely tall?
Yes.
So I guess the Waheela could just chomp its legs right down. Crunch.
Good. Yeah.
Take him down from there.
Jump up and bite his carcass head right off.
Yeah, run right up him like a crazy dog.
Yeah. Chomping jaws like a hyena. Have you ever seen a hyena mouth?
Yeah, it's nasty.
Right. So imagine a hyena wolf bear-like creature on steroids. That's the Waheela.
Well, it's very frightening.
Yes.
Well, great story, hun. Per usual. And
Thank you.
You're welcome. And the artwork is bar none.
Oh, thanks, baby.
You're welcome. So, hun, do you want to sign us out?
I sure do. You better lock your doors. You better lock your windows. And you might want to check under your bed.
And if I find that Waheela under my bed, I'm not quite sure what I would do.
You're going to shit an igloo.
I'm going to shit an igloo and trap it. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to shit an igloo of bricks and trap it under my bed. So there. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. And we will see you again on Malice Monday.
See you on Monday.